Okay, so thank you everyone. Welcome. So I'm going to give a little overview about LD Connect and what it is about and what you can do with it. And I'm going to end with some visuals that we created for this event. So firstly, LD Connect is a database of all ISSN papers, and it contains the metadata. So this metadata entails the title, the abstract, for example, the keywords, what volume an article is from in the issue, but also information about the accessibility, so whether it's open or closed access, and the authors and university. So it entails also geographical distribution. So moving on to the database. So what you can do with a database is that you can ask it questions. So for example, how many papers were published in bladder cancer in 2019? Or what is the proportion of open access papers published in JAD over time? And lastly, for example, how many authors that wrote papers on biology are from Canada? But these are just examples, and there's many more things that you can ask the database. So moving on to how you can ask questions, we are using this example. So who are the authors that have contributed to volume 85 of Journal of Alzheimer's Disease? So there's two ways in which you can ask a question to LD Connect. You can do it through the semantic search and through the simple search. Starting with the semantic search, it's a Sparkle database, so you construct a query and you can ask it a question. So the question that we just had would look like this, and the output would be a table that you can download as a CSV. The simple search is a lot easier to use because you don't have to use the Sparkle database. So here it's very simple. As the name says, you just select the criteria, so the journal name, the volume that you're looking for, and then you can click search. But you can also filter other things, for example, the access or the number of results that you want to get, or you can also just search based on the date of publication. So the output is here is the same. So you get a table or a CSV that you can download. So you're probably wondering, how can LD Connect help you? So it can help you to gain a lot of insight about the publication volume of your journal, about your articles, so their topics through the keywords and the accessibility data, but also about the geographical distribution of your journal, so you learn about the institutions and the authors' locations. So this is kind of it, and now we're moving on to the interactive visuals that we created. Starting with the access data. So this one is about the open access, so it's per category. You can see that there's an outlier here. That's because this category is quite small. If I hover over it, you should be able to see the number. But also here, for example, for the larger categories, you can see that this number makes more sense. So this one is very simple. And also later you will be able to go through this presentation and also click on the visuals and change things if you like. Moving on to the country race. So this one is quite nice because it shows since the beginning of ISSN which countries have been kind of leading. So it's kind of a race. And if we follow it, you see that some countries start to get up. Yeah. So for example, China is really going up here, as you see, which is nice to see. But it doesn't win, so yeah. So I'm moving on now to the next one. So this is a tree map of all the categories in the journal. So it shows how big a journal is in its category. And this one is actually really nice because you can filter based on the year. So we could do, for example, 2021, or you could go all the way back to the beginning and see how it has changed over time. So this one, actually the next one, let me see if I can click it. Yeah, the sunbeam, it's actually the same, but just shown differently. This one, it's the exact same, so you can also filter on the year. And now this is a really nice one. We have the journal collaboration, so here you can select a journal. Yeah, we can just choose anyone actually. And then you can see the collaborations between authors. So here you see that the most collaborations for this journal took place between authors from China and the United States. And you can spin the globe to take a look and see what happens. And the next one is the world of papers. So here we see where the papers are from in the world. If you hover over the image, you can also see, let me see, yes, you can see how many papers there are from that country. So you see that the United States is quite big, but there's some countries in Europe as well that are quite big. And yeah, and China, for example, is also quite big. So yeah, you can also take a look at this one yourself later on. And now the last one is the map over time. So if it loads, because this one took a bit more time, I think. Yeah, so this one shows all the points are the institutions that the papers are from. So you can see over time how this changes and it moves around. It's quite nice to see how the impact changes over time. And yeah, this is the last one. So like I said, if you want to take a look yourself or you want to filter based on a specific year, you can also just follow the link to the presentation and take a look. And lastly, I would like to end with this question about what would you like to know? So if there's anything that you would like to know, we are very eager to receive any feedback or hear any information about what you think is useful to know. And I have some use case examples about the simple search if you're curious about that. So you can follow the link below to see the case examples and more of an explanation how to use the database. And yeah, I put my email address down as well if you want to send me a message. So that was it, and thank you. Yeah.